Audi are getting back into the game. They've just launched a whole slew of electric vehicles and their portfolio of EVs is actually the widest in India. But that said, even with the best intention in the world, electric vehicles for the foreseeable future are going to remain very niche. And that's why Audi needs a volume driver. And what works better for Audi than SUVs, than their Q range of vehicles? And that's why on this new Q5, there rests a huge burden of expectation. This needs to drive volumes for Audi and their dealers. This is the facelifted Q5. It's not all new, but for all intents and purposes, because the Q5 has been off sale in India for so long, this actually is new. So can it do the job? Can it push Audi? Can it push volumes? And can it challenge the X3 and sit between the GLC and the GLE? Let's find out. But before we go ahead, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the Evo India channel and hit that bell icon to stay notified for all our videos. And what do you think of Audi's strategy, both electric vehicles and SUVs? Drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Now the Q5 is back with only the 2-liter TSI engine. So this is a 2-liter turbocharged petrol engine. It makes 245 bhp, 0 to 100 in 6.8 seconds. So this is quick. It also gets Quattro all-wheel drive. It's not purely front-wheel drive. So that gives it good grip. And of course, this ride quality, it actually is incredibly good. Of course, it doesn't have the handling chops of, say, an X3, but the way this rides down a bumpy road, it is really good. It also has adaptive suspension. Now this is not air suspension, this is regular steel springs, but in dynamic mode it ties down the suspension a little more so that waviness is reduced, so it can ride well over bumpy roads, over these roads where you're going a little faster. It is not wavy. It really is dynamically very nice. But to tell you more about the Q5, we've got our new principal correspondent, Vipul Puneta. And Vipul, do you want to start with the back seat?
Certainly, Suresh. It's plush. I would have liked a little more recline, but this light upholstery does add to the sense of spaciousness. And this large panoramic sunroof, it's lovely.
Vipul, but important question, what is it like compared to the GLC back there?
In the GLC, the seat is lower. You also have more knee room, but the Q5 offers more headroom. So at balance, they are at par. But the highlight of the Q5 is the ride quality. But Suresh, do you mind if I, jump in the driver's seat and have a go?
Sure. So let Vipul take over and I'll, chill by the side of the road.
Quite comfortable, luxurious and peaceful. Now these are the words that best describe the driving experience of the Audi Q5. Under the hood is Audi's 2-liter turbocharged engine, 4-cylinder, 245 bhp and 370 Nm of torque. Adequate numbers for a SUV of this size. But the way that the power is delivered, it isn't too aggressive, it isn't too intimidating. It is very relaxed, very much suited to long distance road trips. What will also help you on those trips is the Quattro all-wheel drive system. Now the Q5 is ready to take on any terrain, be it long highways, be it your off-road expeditions, be it snow, mud, slush. With an all-wheel drive system, you can be rest assured that the Q5 can get you through it, and that is again a very good thing to have on board. Now what Audi has also introduced with the Q5 are drive modes. What it alters is the sharpness of the throttle response and slightly tweaks the suspension. So you can choose between comfort, dynamic and economy, and that allows you to extract more fuel efficiency or maybe extract more power from the engine. It does alter the character of the Q5 a fair bit, and coupled with the engine is Audi's S-tronic transmission, which also gets paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. So when you're in the mood, you can actually take full control and have a little blast with this SUV. Audi does the best interiors in the business, and the Q5, it is no different. This dashboard, it is extremely well laid out, very simple, very minimalistic, but still very functional and very appealing. Now what you get here as a new addition is this 10.1-inch screen. You obviously get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay with it, but the screen itself, it's very crisp, very fluidic. You can access a lot of menu functions from it. But then again, unlike the Audi A6 or the Q8, they haven't included a touchscreen for the HVAC controls. These are still physical buttons, and the feedback from these nerd finished knobs. It's just fantastic. Very good to operate. This is a 3-zone climate control. So the front 2 passengers get their own and the rear gets its own control as well. Also, what you get is this virtual cockpit. Again, very crisp, lots of information, but very well organized. It's very easy to read information from it. The highlight of the cabin though has to be that 755 watt B&O 19 speaker, that's right, 19 speaker system in a cabin of this size. It's immersive, it's very engaging, and as I said, it is the highlight of the Q5. If you are new to the Audi lineup, this is their luxury midsize SUV. It's based on the MLB platform, the same platform that underpins the Audi A4 as well. And in terms of the Q lineup, it sits above the Q3, but under the Q7, which is yet to be launched in India, but it's coming out pretty soon. Alright, so what's changed on the India spec Q5? Well, you have just the one powertrain option and you have 2 trim levels, Premium Plus and Technology. On the outside, you've got revised LED lighting. The headlamp units, they are sleeker, they look a lot more sportier than the model that it replaces, and the mandatory more grille styling. Yes, the grille has now grown in size and it gets these vertical slats, which might not be to everyone's liking, but I'll tell you what, it looks a lot better when viewed in person. The bumper on the front, that's been redesigned to accommodate the bigger grille. Now, Audi has made some styling tweaks to the rear as well. The bumper for one has been redesigned. They've added a chrome strip between both the tail lamps, and the tail lamps again, they get newer LED lighting. The rear though remains largely the same to the model that it replaces. On the side, you get newer sills, you get this aluminum finished roof rails, and you get 19-inch dual spoke alloy wheels, which do complement the look of this SUV. Overall, it's very proportionate, it's very good to look at, and it fits the bill of the usual customer requirement. The boot, that's largely usable as well. So you get 550 liters, which is at par with the Mercedes-Benz GLC and the BMW X3. So in all, in terms of the specs, in terms of the dimensions, it is just at par with the competition. It is right up there.
To conclude on the Q5, Vipul, ride quality.
I think it's the strongest highlight of the Q5. Very good, very plush, very comfortable.
Performance.
Well, let's just say it doesn't fall into the trap of being too aggressive in terms of its ride and the powertrain. But still, who anyways buys a luxurious SUV to lob it down the B road?
Well, maybe Evo India subscribers and people who are watching this video who've got Thrill of Driving t-shirts.
Yes.
But that apart, do you miss the diesel engine?
Yes, and not just me, I think a lot of customers would.
So Audi's strengths with the Q vehicles have always been the diesel engines, but there are no diesel engines, so that's end of story. And you got to remember that in the past, when they had petrols, they also had diesels. Now they have petrols and they have electrics, so they still do have 2 powertrain options. And Audi, they also highlight the fact that the lack of a diesel engine hasn't really hampered their sale. This year, they've grown by 140-odd%, whereas the industry has grown by 40-odd%. Obviously, Audi is from a lower base, but they are growing. More cars are selling, and it is back of the petrol engines. And this Q5 with the petrol engine is actually quite a nice SUV to drive. In fact, in the Indian environment and in our conditions, with the roads being what they are, this is actually fast, it is capable, it is safe, and it is confidence inspiring.
Definitely. And what I'd also like to add here is Audi's approach, customer satisfaction. That is the priority for the brand at the moment. So they're looking after the customers, they're also expanding the network. So that, puts this in a very good spotlight, because customers can now buy the 4 rings with a lot more peace of mind.
Well, we still don't know how much it'll cost to buy a Q5 because prices are not out. But if you go by Audi's newfound aggression in terms of their pricing, it should be aggressively priced, closer to the GLC than the GLE. And if they do price it there, I think Audi, they do have a winner in the Q5, and then they will have the Q7 coming. So the whole range of Q vehicles will be back, and it is great to see Audi back in action, Audi back in force.